Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite station on YouTube, Misfit FM. As always, is your favorite host checking back in with you. Hope you've been having a fantastic week. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. And today we are diving into Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 2, titled Tree. We're gonna go more into a more deep dive. I initially did one on Misfit Sasuke, so if you missed it, check out that post before watching this video, because we're gonna kind of go more deeper into what I discussed on that post. But before we do, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel to make sure you're supporting your favorite station, and also showing love to the page, because you know your support means the world, and I always love when you guys give me some questions, comments, like dislikes, whatever, to tell me, hey, what can we do better on the channel. But with that being said, let's hop into discussing chapter 2, and let's start off at the beginning. So at the beginning of the chapter, obviously we all saw Boruto and Code more interaction. Obviously Boruto telling Sarada to run away or to just go save some other people, and we'll catch up later, we'll talk later type vibe. And the first thing I said in my Mr. Sasuke post was this, like, hey, Boruto has a more serious personality, more cutthroat. It seems definitely like he was willing to kill Code if needed. Obviously towards the later half end of the chapter, he was kind of trying to convince Code, like, hey, you don't know what type of power you have with the 10-tailed beast you have, or what he calls the claw grims, which is really cool. I mean, I like the name, but also Boruto highlighting, like, hey, you don't know the power you're dealing with the claw grims, and Code's basically calling his bluff. But then seeing Boruto do what Boruto does now, Code knows not to mess around with Boruto. However, that kind of also opens the door to wonder what happened to Boruto during those last couple of years that took the mindset we saw at the end of the Boruto Naruto Next Generation manga and the last episode of Boruto anime as well, to now this more serious adult tone Team Boruto that is not afraid to kill someone, opposite of what his father would do in those situations, but more like what his master Sasuke would do. Which, and look, I'm gonna be honest, I'm here for that new version of Boruto. I know it's because of a sad route, or maybe some type of hardship must have happened between that point in time a couple years ago and now, which was fair considering the circumstances he's in due to the effects of omnipotence, and also just the fact that we don't know what happened to Sasuke. We still don't. We're 2 chapters in. We're gonna have to give it that time, because it could be a major point that they're just trying to save, or Sasuke's doing something that Sasuke does. We don't know, and there's no point of trying to say or look at rumors, trying to make all these rumors, because like everything to this point until they announce in the chapter is just pure speculation. We know nothing about Sasuke. We don't know if he's dead, alive, or he's doing something. Nothing. All we know is that before the time skip, he left with Boruto from the village to escape. Pretty much everyone wanted to kill them both. Now, obviously, with this new version of Boruto, you got some really good display of his Kenjutsu, which Kenjutsu is just basically swordplay, and he looks damn good. I mean, he definitely learned from his master. Also, the new variation of Rasengan, it looks like something that covers his body from the looks of it, just going off the image. You know, it doesn't take that hard to just look at what he's doing. So it's really cool. You know, the Rasengan legacy is passing on to a new variation, so look forward to seeing what that does in chapter 3 if they show it. They really should show it. I don't see any way they don't show that new version of Rasengan if they ended the chapter kind of teasing it. So we're gonna see it in chapter 3, hopefully in October. Now, on the Code side of things, I'm gonna be honest, look, we've all been memeing Code for months at this point about how powerful he is, the army he has, and just seeing how, again, he's not really being shown in like what we're expecting, I guess, or what I'm expecting. I'll kind of go more my expectations of him versus whatever your expectation might be of him. I don't know what Code is specifically doing. Like, obviously, we know he wants to kill the people on his list. Like, that's obvious to me. However, with Code, it's like he's super powerful. He has all these tricks and up to his hand, but then it's like you see him fight someone like a Boruto or someone even weaker than him, and he still loses or finds some way to lose. And it's like one of those examples of the most powerful characters failing to comprehend the power they have, or just not flat out doing the thing that we're expecting them to do. So with Code, he has an army. He could have been invaded the village, but apparently he has a very big vendetta on Boruto and company, so he wanted to wait until they appeared. It's like, bro, no, you could have, like, I don't know. I think that's the weirdness of the plot, where I just get confused and kind of debate about what the writer or the author, or well, in this case Kishimoto, is trying to portray there. But I feel as though, and I said it in the Mr. Sasuke post, Code's either going to go one of two routes here. The first route is that he's just going to end up maybe getting like so close to what he wants to do and ends up getting killed out of nowhere for whatever reason. Maybe like how Boruto was saying, hey, you don't know the power of the 10-tailed beasts. You don't know what these beasts will do now that you've mutated and modified them to something that is completely different than a typical route. So maybe they turn up against him, and then Boruto and company have to deal with the aftermath of that, or maybe some I don't know. It's like, I don't see a way where Code really wins. It's more so Code's going to lose in my eyes right now currently, and I said that back even before the time skip. I felt like Code's going to lose in a way that just like disappoints us, but we all kind of assume like, hey, he's not the antagonist that we're expecting. There's probably a hidden antagonist outside of maybe Kawaki that we're just not seeing yet, does not have been introduced, that's going to make Code look like child's play in terms of how he's portrayed. At least that's my thoughts, so let me know what you guys think about that one. All right, so next one we're going to talk about is that little section regarding Inoshiku Troll and also Kawaki, because, you know, they had that brief moment where they showed pretty much the village is being kind of attacked by Code's claw grims, and now we have Kawaki and company taking them on a little bit. And again, I said in the previous video, I can't mess with Inojin's design. I just don't like his fit. It looks weird to me. Like, everyone else is fine. I think he's the only one where I'm just still iffy on. But outside of the fit, seeing them fight, you know, it's pretty cool. Seeing him and Wari get saved by Inojin, all right, pretty decent. Kawaki coming in to save the day. Key note there, because I want to highlight that too. Obviously, he does not like being called Big Brother, which kind of shows kind of a lot of people were saying prior to the time skip how like maybe this will slowly change Kawaki and stuff like that. And I don't think taking Boruto's shoes were ever going to change him. We have to understand Kawaki has lived a very crappy life. And also at his age, like, or again, your brain is still growing. You can't expect someone to just have a couple of years, even prior to the omnipotence, and just magically change into the better. I personally didn't see that. I still don't. And maybe it's also because how Kawaki views when Himawari says that, she mainly refers to that towards Boruto, and he maybe feels some type of way that he's taking Boruto's shoes. Really still showing he still cares to some extent about Boruto, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. It's, again, these are all assumptions I'm making based off of words on a page. I just, in my eyes, I can't see Kawaki changing in the way that people would want him to. But if he does, great. If he doesn't, I mean, look, it just further proves the point that he's just ends just by the means. He still wants to kill Boruto. We pretty much all know that. He still wants to kill all Utsuzuki, obviously, and in this case he still want to kill all the little claw grims, which he probably can. But also, something to note is something, I forgot who said this in a post, but I think some people were saying like Kawaki might have gotten a little bit less sluggish, or I mean more sluggish in the way of his fighting style, because, well, Boruto, obviously his shoes he's in right now, Kawaki's, he hasn't been training as hard as Boruto has, because obviously look at Boruto and what he's doing in comparison to what Kawaki did. Like, Kawaki got pretty much just surprised by a claw grim coming up from behind him. With Boruto, you just saw him just cut them down like it was nothing. They weren't getting back up. So maybe the switching of roles improved one more than the other in a different way, because obviously Boruto's on the run. He needs to constantly be aware of his surroundings, and also gotta get trained to be stronger, because he acknowledged even before the time skip, like, hey, I'm not that strong. I need to get stronger so I can take on Kawaki and this brotherly struggle, or at the very least understand that, hey, you know, if I can't beat him in a peaceful manner, I might have to end up killing him. Which, again, I can still see that happening. I can still see Boruto killing Kawaki, just because, you know, something might lead to it. So at least it's my thoughts. However, you know, judging also by Kawaki's statement, a thing that I need to also highlight is the outfit change from the very first episode of Boruto, in that chapter Boruto, to the outfits they have now post time skip. completely different, obviously, if you compare the two. But also, it's like, okay, is what we're seeing here like not like another variation, another future that could have happened? Because realistically, you know, it's kind of obvious based on the way Boruto is talking. He knows more than what we are saying. Now, that's not me saying maybe Boruto did time traveling. Like, I know that rumor's been thrown around. I've kind of seen that rumor thrown around. I've said some personally that maybe that could be a thing. But at the same time, it's like a 50-50. He could have time traveled. He could have had the Jugen, one of the powers of the Jugen, to use it. Maybe Momoshiki powers infused into him. Who knows? I think, here's my take. I think Boruto and what we saw in episode 1 is just a variation of a possible future that could happen, and that was where you have the outfits looking like that, because maybe this is one future that could have happened but certain things changed, so now here we are in this alternate future, which is our present. And you know, time travel gets very wonky, so that's just my take. I feel like what we saw in episode 1 was just another variation of what could have happened, but maybe something different. But could be wrong. It could be just a fake out where they just didn't have the outfit minds that we're seeing right now in place when they made it way back then, and then we're just being like, okay, makes sense, like, you know, no big deal. But however, I do want to still acknowledge the fact that anything's possible in Boruto. You know, time travel, we can't just say it's not a thing. Obviously, we know we have seen abilities that can see the future, see the past. I mean, we've had movies like the Naruto Shippuden, I think, movie 4, The Lost Tower, where literally they time traveled back to the days where Minato was still a Jonin, or the filler arc in Boruto where Sasuke and Boruto went back in time to part 1 Naruto and had a little adventure there. Like, it's possible to make that canon. It just comes down to, do they want to do that? Because I know that time travel cliche has kind of been pushed around a lot more in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but who knows? We can do a lot with that. So, you know, let me know your thoughts on that. The last person I'm going to talk about, and obviously the last part of the chapter I'm going to talk about, is Sarada. I mean, seeing her doing her thing with her Chidori, which at first I thought she was using it without a Sharingan, but then it's like, it didn't make sense to me because I made a post and I said that in the post, but then someone corrected me about that, because it's impossible to use your Chidori without a Sharingan, which is true. So, because the issue is, if you try to use a Chidori without a Sharingan, your point of view, your POV, makes it extremely hard to really, as I would say, catch the lightning, or in this case, really condensify the Chidori to actually use it to its full potential. Which in this case, I know Sarada is powerful, but I don't think she's there yet. But it could have been just the way the panels look, because I couldn't see her actual eyes. Like, that's the key thing. I can't see her eyes. I couldn't see her Sharingan, because she could have just deactivated it quickly and the panel just didn't show it. But yeah, I just assumed initially. But thank you to Sarada Chia. She helped me understand it a little bit better. She pointed that out to me. Shout out to her. But yeah, I just like how she's using her Chidori, her Faust style. Obviously, she's just cooking people like it's nothing. And then a point I made in the post, I want to say again, rank don't mean nothing. Hasn't mean nothing to me since Shippuden specifically, because there's a lot of guys who have like severely are below tier in terms of ranking that ends up beating some super S tier villain like Kanamaru. I use that example from when he fought Pain, or one of the paths, not like the actual Nagato, but like the one of the paths. Like, he beat it, and that's Kanamaru at that point. What, a Chunin? I think he was a Chunin at that point in Shippuden. But either way, like, come on, bro. Like, let's be honest here. Rank don't mean nothing, bro. It's just put the work in, see what happens. One thing I want to point out, the misconception of Sarada's rank in the manga versus the anime. So the thing you need to keep in mind is that the anime and manga at some points will just make sense and not make sense. So the whole ranking thing, the reason why she's like, I think a Chunin in the anime, but a Geni in the manga, is because I forgot where exactly that post is, or that quote is, but if I do find it, I'll put it right here. But essentially, it's like the writers have a reason why they do what they do, and it all makes sense in time. So just be patient. It's not they messed up. It's like everything's intentional in its own way. So I get why you would assume that, but trust me, it's not. But seeing Sarada do her thing was nice. And last thing I'll say is, like, bro, I did not miss seeing the 10 tails turn things into trees or look so creepy. Like, I don't miss that. It was so, not like overplayed, but more like I generally just didn't miss looking at those images of that. Because now, hey, we got We got people turning into trees again, but I think it's gonna be way worse because obviously they're mutated. So if they're not the same ones, and it's gonna be a nightmare, and maybe that's why the village goes to crap. Who knows? That's kind of the story we're gonna see, but that's kind of where I'm gonna end things off right now. That's about wraps it up for me. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts on anything I discussed about chapter 2, or how you would officially rate chapter 2. Personally, I gave it a 10 out of 10, but obviously everyone's in a different department, so let me know how you would rate chapter 2 titled Tree of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. This is your favorite station signing out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.